As we wind down the quarter, semiconductors most definitely got my attention with what happened today. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use daily price movement ranges for entries and a little bit about how to use daily price movement ranges for exits. So semiconductors are still the #1 quarter to date sector. It's not as heavily weighted within the NAS as, say, XLK or XLC, but this is absolutely an influential sector, and it's one I think a lot of folks want to know. Rog, will this benefit from end of quarter? I absolutely do believe it will, but there's two things we need to look at. Let's look at them right now. This is the semiconductor daily time frame on the right and the semiconductor 1 hour time frame on the left. And we're going to focus for the most part on the daily because this is where the trend has been really strong. And today we saw a bit of a sell-off that took us from one end of the daily price movement range, that kind of yellow goldish color to the top, down to the color on the bottom, which is gray. Gold is resistance, gray is support. And as long as we're able to maintain support in that gray zone, you can sort of zoom into it and see this is what happens. So this is that. And this is absolutely a buy setup that I'm going to be looking at as we go into Wednesday's session. Now remember, tomorrow is the second to last trading day of the quarter. Thursday is the last trading day of this month, of this quarter. This is going to be a really interesting setup to watch, but I mentioned I'd show you NVIDIA. All right, so if I'm going to buy the gray, one thing to keep in mind is we can oftentimes end up taking profit in the gold. And if you take a look at NVIDIA here on the 26th, what happened? We hit that area in this, see these resistance zones? This is downward pressure. This is where selling pressure can come in. Now, NVIDIA obviously had a larger sell-off than we want to see, and this is what led SMH to go lower. This is why I'm also talking about an SMH buy and not necessarily an NVIDIA buy. But you might say, Rog, I like looking at NVIDIA. What could I focus on? This gray zone here, which is the same as the gray zone here, right, has a first and second standard deviation. So I put the daily price movement range on both the 60-minute time frame and the daily. So again, you can see it, the same indicator on either time frame. This is actually hitting the first standard deviation right now, which in terms of where oftentimes there's going to be a great inflection point and a return back in the direction of the trend, that first, second standard deviation window is a really great one, and we knocked on that door here into Tuesday's close. But for those of you saying, Rog, NVIDIA is a wild ride right now, and what's a really great proxy for it, I'm going to say focus on, instead, the SMH. And this is the setup, gang. This is the strongest sector to date. Should benefit from some window dressing. Had a rough close on Tuesday. I'm looking for support, mostly in SMH, come Wednesday. All right, and that's a really basic look at what I want to do, and probably the hottest and most watched sector right now in the broader averages. Remember, this is very much tethered to NASDAQ in terms of who could benefit from a bounce in NVIDIA or even semiconductors. So I'd keep an eye on NASDAQ futures and on QQQ, but it's SMH and NVIDIA, and those are the levels that I'm looking at in terms of next session. Now, the next session, I will have slightly modified daily price movement ranges. These update every single day, but you'll notice how even they've been. I'm not looking for a dramatically different zone, although it will be slightly modified from where we are right now, but I'm looking for a buy. I'll see you in the next update. Hey traders, Raghee from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment below. And remember, subscribe and click the bell icon so you'll get notified of the next update. And when you're ready to join me for live trading, be sure to head on over to simplertrading.com. I'll see you in the next update.